Okay. Councillor McCabe, are you there?
I am, Your Worship.
Okay. Councillor McCabe's calling in. So we acknowledge, appreciate that the land on which we gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq First Nation, and we have occupied this territory since time immemorial. Call to order. I'd just like to welcome President Sherry Hillier from Newfoundland, Labrador, QP. Alan Linkletter, is that Alan over there? Just raise your hand, Alan. Nova Scotia, President Nova Scotia QP. President Iris Lloyd from the New Brunswick QP, President of the New Brunswick QP, and our own President Ashley Clark for the Prince Edward Island QP. Welcome and welcome to QP 830. Any declarations of conflict of interest? Okay, Councillor McCabe? Can you hear me?
Sorry, Your Worship. Yes, I do have two declarations of conflict. I'm going to be in conflict on two planning applications this evening, Resolution 5 and Resolution 7.
Resolution 5 and 7. You got that down, CAO? Okay. Approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Ramsey, second by Councillor Matard. All in favor? Councillor McCabe, yea or nay?
In favor.
Okay. Adoption of the previous draft minutes of council. There's the regular monthly meeting, September 9th, 2025. Special meeting, September 23rd, October 1st, 2025. And a public planning meeting, October 1st, 2025. Need someone to move them? Moved by Councillor Ramsey, second by Councillor McKinnon. All in favor? Councillor McCabe?
In favor.
Okay. Any business arising out of the minutes? Okay. Councillor Beck, just 1 second. Go ahead, sir. Can you tell us what page digital?
Yeah, I'm just trying to find it, Your Worship, if you give me,
go ahead.
bear with me for a second. Page 17, it's an economic, I don't know whether I asked the question now or when Councillor, it's more on, it's probably more dealing with the meeting. It kind of ties to the last meeting. Will I ask it at the time when he does this committee?
Yep. You're all right with that? Yeah, it's at the minutes.
They're kind of both connected, but I can ask it later on.
Good.
Yep.
Councillor Bernard? You got your mic? No? Okay. Okay. Number 6, council inquiries to be taken under consideration. I know you're looking at me, that's under the new procedural bylaw. No? Okay. Reports of standing committees. City Council for Charlottetown. Number 7.1. Planning and Heritage. Did you have something there under council inquiries to be taken under consideration? Okay.
It actually has to do with the minutes. Just on page 26,
26. Okay.
the Heritage Board minute, I called in on that meeting, but I was unable to vote due to connectivity issues.
Right.
And because it would indicate that the votes were all like 8-0 or 9-0, 9-0, but there was 10 people present. So I don't know whether it should be noted that I was unable to vote due to connectivity, because that would reflect the number of people who were
It's
there.
Page 28, it's the Heritage Board meeting, Monday, September 29th, 2025, page 3 of 4. Do you want to take note of that? The resolution that,
It's not the special meeting.
No, it was from the Planning and Heritage Board minutes.
okay, So
And-
you'll have to go back to those minutes when we bring it up.
Yeah, just, someone's looking and say, well, I was there, but the number of votes do not add up to the number of people present.
Correct.
And that was because I couldn't vote because I was having connectivity issues.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Duly noted.
I'd just like that to
Duly
be
noted.
reflected in the minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Deputy Mayor Alana Akoff, do you want to start off? Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you, Your Worship. The Planning Board met, as Councillor Beck alluded to, September 29th. We had a public meeting on October 1st. We had a Planning and Heritage Committee on October 9th, Planning Board meeting on October 9th. The Affordable Housing Advisory Committee has not met this past month, nor has the Design Review. However, the minutes for the other meetings that I mentioned are in your package, and I'll certainly do my best to address any questions to those minutes. I also just want to give a quick, brief update. Our zoning bylaw, we are on target for a project schedule completion by early 2026. So this work has been started, and we should be heading out to public consultations soon. I also, same with e-permitting, we're still on target to complete by early 2026. The pre-approved housing design initiatives, again, the project is scheduled for completion early 2026. And our heritage preservation bylaw that we're working on with our 500 lot review and update is also scheduled for completion for early 2026. Other than that, I have 9 resolutions for your consideration and 1 reading. And if anyone has any questions, I'll do my best to answer. Thank you.
Councillor Beck? No? Councillor Twill?
Thank you for your report, Deputy Mayor Lana. I'm going to ask a question about the Federal Accelerator Fund. And I'm trying to understand when Council passed that resolution to accept the funding for the Federal Accelerator Fund, how that exactly works. Is there a formula when management and the planning department decide to look at applications from a development perspective when it comes to housing? How does management take into consideration and informing a recommendation or a rejection? Secondly, by accepting the Federal Acceleration Fund, how does that bound City Council in terms of legal, political, administrative obligations? In terms of, we because we signed up for that particular program, how does that bind management, the planning department, and how does that bind members of City Council? I was skeptical when that resolution came forward because of the public meetings that we held, public meetings where residents are concerned about development in their respective neighborhood and community. So I'm seeking clarity, seeking clarification. I want to understand how the formula actually works. I think it'd be advantageous not just for members of City Council, but advantageous for the people that live in these neighborhoods and communities. Thank you.
Okay, Deputy?
Yeah, thank you for your question, Councillor Twill. So I can tell you that, first of all, in terms of the housing initiative funding that the city has received, to date, what council has approved was the draft of our official plan, which is now waiting on ministerial sign-off. And what we agreed to on that, if you're referring to the different initiatives, were, like, for example, we agreed to a 4-unit as of right as appropriate. And so therefore, that is yet to be defined in our zoning and development bylaw, what that will look like. So in terms of when staff are are deliberating over existing applications. They are deliberating based on the existing official plan that we have currently, not the one that's waiting on ministerial sign-off. And we're also deliberating applications based on the current zoning and development bylaw. So whatever has happened with HAF does not bind council to make any decisions except for based on our official plan and our current zoning and development bylaw. So I hope that answers your question on that. And if you need any more clarity, I'm happy to try and address that further.
Councillor Twill, follow-up second question.
Yeah, no, I appreciate where we are currently, but in terms of when we do factor it into the new zoning and development bylaw, what are the expectations from a developer's perspective? What are the expectations from a neighborhood and from a community perspective? Because, some of the issues that we deal with are very contentious. They're polarizing, they're difficult, and they're hard to deal with. Not just for the staff in the planning department, but elected officials, and also for the residents that are impacted, and developers that have an expectation too. They're trying to do their due diligence. They're filling out their applications. They're looking at what are the incentives, and the Federal Acceleration Fund is one of them. And so, what are the expectations that residents in the city and equally important developers can come to expect when that's enshrined and entrenched in the new zoning and development bylaw?
I can take
Deputy?
a stab at this. So the residents and the developers, city staff, from the planning perspective, are probably going to be in the exact same situation that we're in currently with our existing zoning and development and official plan. The only difference is that when they start reviewing applications, once the new zoning and development bylaw and the new official plan come into play, then their planning principles will be evaluated based on those two documents. But currently, they're being based on the two existing documents we have. So as a resident, I would encourage any resident to participate in all of the public information sessions when it comes to our upcoming zoning and development bylaw, to ensure that you get those questions asked and you understand exactly what council is being asked to approve or not approve as it comes to changes in our upcoming new zoning and development bylaw. And if you want, I can ask Manager David or Director Mike if there's anything to add to those direct questions that Councillor Twill had. Not to put you on the spot, but if there's anything I've missed, feel free to add that on through his worship to Director Mike and Manager David.
Mr. Russ or Mr. Gundram?
Thank you, Your Worship, through you and the chair. I think you've summarized it quite accurately. In this interim period where we're waiting for final approval of the official plan, staff are evaluating every single development application under the existing regulatory regime, meaning our existing official plan and the existing zoning and development bylaw. So once we're in that position where we have the new official plan approved here hopefully shortly, any request for a change in the zoning bylaw would be evaluated by staff against that new policy framework, and a recommendation would be provided to council based on that new framework. But again, council would be the decision maker in that instance until the zoning bylaw is updated to reflect that new policy framework.
Okay, Councillor Twill, third question.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor and our staff. With all due respect, I'd like you to be a little more specific, if you don't mind. In terms of the expectations, can you outline what the criteria will be in terms of, is the advantage for the developers? Is the advantage for the residents? I'm trying to understand how this is going to unfold in the days ahead and what the impact and effect's going to be. And furthermore, what the expectations are going to be. I mean, there's great expectations from the development community. I mean, they're looking at this incentive programs from the federal government. And the residents are also keenly aware and would like to know how this is going to unfold as well. So I'm just trying to understand how it's going to play out from a layman's perspective.
Okay, the deputy mayor is chair of the Standing Committee for Planning, Development, and Heritage.
Yep, thank you for your question, Councillor Twill. So as we all know, the official plan is sitting in the province for waiting on ministerial sign-off. Meanwhile, we are now working on the framework. We have yet to go out to the public and hear from the public. We're just now starting to hear from stakeholders. So I would encourage everybody, residents, developers, city council, city staff, to come to these engagement sessions, because that's where the voices get heard. And whether you send in letters, whether or not you come and ask questions, be part of it. Because right now, we don't know what that framework's going to look like yet, because we haven't made any decisions, and we've yet to see even a draft of that. So from here, I would just encourage everyone to stay involved every step of the way.
Yeah.
And that way you will be part of that decision process. And if Mike or David, if there's anything else you wanted to add through his worship to you,
Yeah.
go ahead.
Deputy, we did have some pop-ups, kiosks during Farm Day in the city 2 years ago, 3. So this process has a lot of traction. Now we're getting into the details of the zoning development bylaw. Mr. Russ?
Thank you, Your Worship, and again, through you and the chair. Appreciate the questions around the Housing Accelerator Fund. To your question about, does it favor the development community or residents? When we look at going through these planning exercises, it's really not about that. It's about hearing from the community as a whole and understanding what that general expectation is from the community. So that's the purpose of the public consultation process, to hear from all of your constituents on what their expectations are around development in their various neighborhoods or the city as a whole. And we, do our best to try and craft that new zoning and development bylaw and the official plan to reflect that. So that people know exactly, or a fairly good idea of what will be developed in their neighborhood. They know what is allowed to be built next door to them. So that's the purpose of going through this exercise. Generally, when we're working through these initiatives, we're trying to be very purposeful in setting those new rules. So we want to make sure that we're being careful about where we're intervening at a regulatory level to have the lightest touch possible with the maximum impact.
And the deputy has said many, many times, this is an opportunity for residents and citizens of Charlottetown via email, Facebook messaging, attending the meetings, get out there, look at the plan, and get your input on the table. Okay. CAO, do you want to read the first resolution? Appointment of Heritage Officer, correct? Okay.
Yes, Your Worship. Planning and Heritage Resolution Number 1, moved by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Norman Beck. Let it be resolved that Council approves the appointment of Natalie Munn The council approves the appointment of Natalie Munn as Heritage Officer for the City of Charlottetown, granting her the authority to exercise the full duties and responsibilities associated with the role, as stipulated in Section 2, brackets 2.1 of the Heritage Preservation Bylaw.
Councillor Ramsey has called the question. All those in favor? Councillor McCabe?
In favor.
And Councillor Twill has left the room, so it'll be 9-0. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Planning and Heritage Resolution Number 2, moved by Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Norman Beck. Let it be resolved that the following major variance for subject property identified as 53 Lewis Point Road, PID number 568832, be approved. To permit a reduced flankship yard setback of 2.43 meters, 8 feet for the west-facing flank each yard, whereas a minimum setback of 6 meters, brackets 19.7 feet, is otherwise required on a corner lot in the R-1L zone.
Okay, sir, thank you very much. Okay. Councillor Ramsey has called the question. All those in favor? Councillor McCabe?
In favor.
Okay. Next one, sir.
Planning and Heritage Resolution Number 3, moved by Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Norman Beck. Let it be resolved that the following major variance for the subject property identified as 87 Pownell Street, PID number 339978, be denied. To allow for a tourist accommodation within an office building that does not contain a dwelling unit.
Okay. Question called? Oh, no, sorry, Deputy, I didn't see that. Deputy Mayor Yankoff, and then Councillor Beck.
Thank you, Your Worship. So I just wanted to speak to this application as the councillor for the area. It's kind of a unique situation, and although I completely understand the planning staff and why they couldn't support it, being asked for a variance essentially in a relief from the rule, but in this case, there isn't really a bylaw to vary it from, so they can't really grant relief from something that doesn't technically exist. So I get where staff had to play in this position. However, I said this being, it's kind of a bit of a gray zone. So where the rules haven't quite caught up to the reality of the ground. So from a land use perspective, the compatibility is good. It doesn't meet the strict intent of the bylaw, and it doesn't fit neatly into any of the existing definitions, but there's no harm to the neighborhood, as was outlined in the planning report, and there's no negative impact, which was also indicated in the planning report. The scale is appropriate, the use is compatible, and it's not going to change the character of the area in any negative way, which again was outlined in our planning report. Sometimes unique situations call for a bit of flexibility and common sense. So the proposed use makes sense in that context, even if the bylaw language hasn't evolved to reflect it just yet. So while I completely respect staff's position, I won't be supporting their recommendation for denial. At the end of the day, I believe the applicant deserves a fair opportunity, and I think this council can recognize that not every good idea fits neatly into a bylaw box. So this is an opportunity for us to be fair, practical, and forward-thinking, and to support a situation that, in my view, causes no harm and may, in fact, strengthen the vitality of the area. So in that case, I will not be supporting staff's recommendation, and instead I will be supporting the application. Thank you.
Councillor Beck.
Yeah, thank you, Your Worship. I'll be honest, I struggled with this vote at the committee level. As the deputy alluded, it was definitely a unique application. I do see the merits of it, and I do see the rationale for the planning staff in terms of why they did make the recommendation. The one question I do have, and it kind of came from a letter on page 144 that was submitted, and it deals with the fire escape on the side of the building. And in the letter, it said the fire escape was built illegally on the neighboring property without the permission of the previous owner. Additional equipment has been added on since the purchase, and it's been several years trying to fix this. And there isn't a question of infringement in terms of that. And I know the applicant had referenced it during the presentation when we were at the committee level, but I don't know if it really fully explained what the implications are of that. So maybe if I could ask, I don't know whether I ask you, Deputy, or if you want to pass it on to David, if there's any sort of clarification on that, if we can go through and maybe highlight what that may mean, or if there are any implications with regards to that. I think it would be on the north side of the building, and it's abutting, there's an alleyway that goes in there, and it's up on that side. So if I could get some clarification on that, I think that would be helpful. Thank you.
Deputy, want to go there?
Thank you for that, and thank you, Councillor Beck. I think in terms of clarification on this, I will defer it over to staff, but I would note that the letter didn't reference anything to do with the applicant's application. This appeared to be another issue that obviously needs to be resolved through bylaw or bylaw enforcement or something like that. So I can only assume that, this is something that I would think that staff can work on should the applicant and the homeowner of the other building want to deal with. But I don't see it as reflecting in what we're doing here this evening. But I will ask David, if I can, if there is any any other information besides what was already noted in the report, as well as from the applicant and Councillor Beck.
Mr. David Gundry.
Through your worship to Councillor Yankoff and also Councillor Beck, the staff were made aware of the possibility of an encroachment with that fire escape, which is on the north side of the building. It's hanging up on the second story of the building on that side. There was a permit that was previously applied for a few years ago, but was never acted upon. And just in that vein, I'll just note that should council approve the variance tonight to approve the request, we would require that the current owners put in for a new building permit for a change of use. Whether or not the fire escape will be implicated in that permit or not, I can't say, but it would certainly be an aspect that building code staff would look at in the course of their review. So I'll just leave it at that. But should council approve the variance, there would be a required permit that has to be put in and further review made at that time.
Councillor John McAleer, Ward 7.
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Yeah, just as it relates to this resolution, certainly in agreement with the Deputy Mayor. Not sure where Councillor Beck is, but I won't be supporting the the staff's recommendation on this, not because they probably haven't done their job, but I think it is a bit of an anomaly kind of situation. And as it says in the committee report, as much so. I think it's we've got someone that's a pretty established commercial business owner in the city that's got a good track record, and I think that that if this does pass, that it will not bring any harm to the commercial area and the business that is in that part of the city. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor McAleer. Councillor Matar, Ward 2.
Thank you. Just wanted to speak to this a little bit myself. I had the opportunity to speak with the homeowner just prior to the weekend, and she laid out kind of the process in which she went through to try to work through the variance. And I think to her surprise, at the end, the recommendation that came out from the planning staff was to not proceed. And I think going through her explanation, that she really has a really unique plan here for this piece of property, and I think it's being kind of caught in the cracks a little bit on what we don't have and what we do have. But I'd like to just echo the sentiments of the others who spoke before me. I think, it's a great opportunity to not be entirely rigid on some of our things here and allow for this particular type of application to go forward. So I will not be supporting staff's recommendation. It's not due to any certainly concerns on the work that they did. I think it's just an anomaly here that we have, and a situation where we can make right of this particular commercial property and allow for the variance to go through. So I just wanted to express those concerns here this evening.
Thank you,
And
Councillor
thoughts.
Matar.
Excuse me.
Councillor Ramsey, call the question. Oh, Counselor Beck? Hold on, Counselor Beck.
So, just to be clear then, if this gets approved, the building permit will be looked at again, and the building, the fire code egress, all that can be addressed at that particular time. Deputy or
Deputy,
Dave?
just 1 second.
That's correct, Counselor Beck. Should council decide to not support staff's recommendation and instead support the applicant, then the situation with the fire escape will be dealt with prior to any permitting happening going forward. Yes, you're correct.
Okay, questions called? So, if you're in favor for the vote, please raise your hand. So you're in favor of not to allow, to deny this? Are you in favor of denying it? Yeah. You are? Okay. It says. You're not? Okay. All those in favor of not denying it? Not to deny it? No. Okay. Councilor McAleer? Okay. Councilor McCabe?
I'm not supporting staff's recommendation to deny.
It says here, it's to be denied, and 10 have said not,
Not in favor.
no one, 0. That's right, so you have to come with a resolution. Do you have something there? Do you have something ready? Do you want to read that, CAO?
Your Worship, Planning Heritage Resolution Number 3, the alternative, moved by Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Norman Beck. Let it be resolved that the following major variants for the subject property identified as 87 Pownell Street, PID 339978 be approved to allow for a tourist accommodation within an office building that does not contain a dwelling unit.
Questions called? Okay, all in favor? Councilor McCabe?
In favor.
Okay, 10-0. Next one, sir.
Planning Heritage Resolution Number 4, moved by Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Norman Beck. Let it be resolved that the following major variants for the subject property identified as 185 Parkwood Crescent, PID number 442202 be approved to allow for an appointment-based home occupation to accommodate a hair salon. 2, that council establish the approved number of clients permitted to visit per day to be up to 3 clients per day. Therefore, the maximum number of business-based visits allowed per week be 15 per week. And that council establish that the required number of on-site parking spaces for the proposed home occupation be 3 parking spaces.
Questions called? All those in favor? Councilor McCabe?
In favor.
Okay, 10-0. Sir?
Councillor McCabe, I remind you that you declared a conflict in this.
Yes, thank you. I'll zone out for this one.
Yeah, Councilor McCabe, you're in conflict? Thank you. Go ahead.
Planning Heritage Resolution Number 5, moved by Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Norman Beck. Let it be resolved that the following major variants for the subject property identified as 15-16 Vale Drive, PID number 355826 in the medium-density residential R3 zone be approved. To permit a reduced minimum front yard setback of 3.7 meters, 12.1 feet per unit of a semi-detached dwelling. 2, to permit a reduced minimum rear yard setback of 4.1 meters, 13.4 feet per unit of a semi-detached dwelling. 3, to permit a reduced minimum lot area of 274 square meters per unit of semi-detached dwelling on an interior lot. And 4, to permit a reduced minimum lot area of 244 square meters per unit of semi-detached dwelling on a corner lot. If the major variance is approved, an application for a lot subdivision to subdivide the existing semi-detached dwelling along the party wall will then be considered.
Okay. I know the property. I just live down the street. He's a pretty good guy. Question? Question, Councilor Ramsey? Good. All in favor? Councilor, oh, gonna say Councilor McCabe. No. Go ahead.
Planning Heritage Resolution Number 6, moved by Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff and seconded by Councilor Norman Beck. Let it be resolved that the following major variance for the subject property identified as 88-90 Sydney Street, PID number 338053 in the downtown neighborhood, DN zone be approved. To reduce the required minimum lot frontage from 20 meters, 65.6 feet, to be approximately 12.8 meters, 42 feet, in order to allow for an increase in the allowable density from 3 dwelling units to 12 dwelling units on the subject property.
Okay. Question called? Question called. All in favor? Councilor McCabe?
In favor.
Okay, 10-0. Okay, next one, sir.
Councilman McCabe, I advise you again that you declare a conflict in this resolution. Planning Heritage
you.
Resolution Number 7, moved by Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff and seconded by Councilor Norman Beck. Let it be resolved that the following rezoning requests for the unaddressed subject properties identified as PID numbers 349035 and 1179829 on Viceroy Avenue be denied. To rezone the subject properties from the single detached residential R-1L zone to the low-density residential R-2 zone to facilitate the future subdivision of the subject properties into 3 new lots, each containing a semi-detached dwelling for a total of 6 new dwelling units.
Councilor McKinnon? Or do you want to, can I ask
Speak to it first.
can I ask the deputy, she's the chair? Can you speak to it first?
Yep, thank you very much, Your Worship. I just wanted to point out to everybody that although tonight's resolution is asking for a denial, I just wanted to let everyone know that the staff have given this a favorable recommendation, but it was Planning Board that have not supported staff's recommendation. So your options this evening are to support staff's recommendation or support Planning Board's recommendation. And if anyone has any questions on this file, and I will let you know that you'll probably see it again eventually too, because there will be an additional variance that will be required down the road. So if anyone has any questions on this file, I'm happy to answer those questions.
Councilor McKinnon?
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you, Deputy, for that. Just looking for clarity. The resolution to me is muddied. There's been some emails going around over the weekend. But are we just voting on the rezoning of these 2 lots tonight? Are we voting on the rezoning plus a potential subdivision included with these 2 lots?
Deputy?
So tonight, currently the two lots on Viceroy are zoned as R1N, which is residential narrow. So tonight what you're voting on is the rezoning from going from R1N to R2. And then from there, if that's successful for the applicant, then the next step for the applicant will be then to apply for the variance that they will require then to fulfill the second stage of this application to get their permit, which would be then to divide it in then into the 3 lots. So tonight, it's a rezoning from R1N to R2 for 2 lots. Is that correct, David? No, 2.
Do you want to just verification from Mr. Gundrum? Mr. Gundrum?
Through your worship to the deputy mayor and to Councillor McKinnon, that's correct. What's on the floor is just a request to consider rezoning and rezoning only from R1 to R2. Should that be successful, then the developer would have to come back for requests for major variance for rear yard setback based on their concept design. So there'd be a second application for major variance that would have to come back to planning board and council at a future date. Yep. To then facilitate them to subdivide the property into the desired parcels. Yep. Yep.
Good, Deputy? Okay, Councillor McKinnon, do you want a second time, sir?
Thank you. No, thank you for the explanation, Manager Gundrum. So should the last 3 lines in this resolution, should they not even be there? Because we're just here for the first 2 lines for the rezoning. The subdivision is, to me, is muddying the water in this decision-making. So if we're just here for the rezoning tonight, it should stop after residential R2 zone and not to facilitate potential plans, because that's a whole new application down the road.
Deputy?
Sure. I'll take a stab at this. So the only new part of the application down the road would be the variance. I don't think you're going to see, once a decision has been made to accept staff's recommendation to convert from R1N to R2, I don't believe that we will be seeing anything more than just a variance request that would address the backyard setbacks. We wouldn't be then reevaluating that it's gone from 2 to 3 lots. David, if you want to clarify that for Councillor McKinnon, but I think that's my understanding of this application.
Okay. David? Can we just let him go first?
Yeah, through your worship to Councillor McKinnon, that's correct as the planning board chair has it, yeah. Yep.
Councillor Bernard?
Yeah, so just so I'm clear, so we're asking this to be rezoned to an R2 to facilitate a future subdivision. So you can have 3 lots. Okay, so tonight, if this is approved, it's not the 3 lots, they gotta come back and apply for the rear setback before they can make the 3 lots? Is that correct?
I'll let the deputy answer your question.
That's correct. If this is successful at this stage and this step, because oftentimes these can be done at the exact same time.
Yeah.
But I believe that the applicant chose to do it in steps. And so the next step would be just the variance aspect of the rear setback, not to then, council won't have to decide on 3 versus 2, because that's done at a staffing level. So once it's rezoned to R2, if we accept that, then the only other part of this that we will see is whether or not if the applicant requires a major variance or not in order to fit these units into those narrow lots.
Okay, so it's quite possible this resolution passes and then the rear setback may not, because they didn't do them at the same time.
That's correct. I mean, you're always running the risk of a variance at the end of the day. It's whether it's staff's recommendation or not, at the end of the day, council makes the final decision. So, yeah, so tonight we're asking whether or not to accept staff's recommendation or accept planning boards, and if we accept staff's recommendation, then we are allowing for the rezoning from R1N to R2.
Thank you.
Councillor Duran?
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Just for clarity, planning staff approved this along with other departments in the city, fire, police. Nobody had any problems with it, right? So it's just planning board that had an issue. Okay, I just want to clarify. Thank you.
Deputy, you go right ahead, Deputy. You're on the hot
And
seat.
you are correct, Councillor Duran. Every single department gave this a favorable environment. Police, fire, Parks and Rec, every department that needed to have eyes on this, all gave it a favorable recommendation. You are correct.
Just 1 second. Counselor Beck? Counselor Beck? No, you can go up. You're the only one on the list?
All right. Yeah, I will be supporting the motion. I think what is important here, again, much like the previous motion, this is no reflection on the work that our planning department does, the work that they put into it. I have full high regard for the work that they do on an annual basis. It's not, on a daily basis, I should say. It's not an easy task to do, trying to meet the demands of our growing city and trying to make everything fit. I think for me, the reason that I supported it is, or I'm supporting this motion is, I think if you look at this particular development, there is a history that dates back to 2019, 2020, when it was previously applied for, it was denied, and this community has already gone through this process. IRAC had rendered a decision in terms of, I think maybe about a year or so ago, in terms of what was appropriate or what was allowed to go in there on that property. And I know that that is not directly related to this application, but it does have some bearing on it in my mind. The other thing is that when we go to public consultations a lot of time, there is very significant response on this file. And part of our job as counselors is to listen to all areas, all avenues, hear the voices of not only the developers, but the residents, planning staff, and everybody, and render a decision. And in this particular situation, I think there were 38 letters went out when you did the 100 meter radius. Of course, a lot of that would have been limited to the fact that West Kent School is on the north side of the property. So with regards to that, 38 letters go out, 18 come back in. That's about a 50% response rate in terms of interest and engagement in this, which is significant. I don't think I remember a file receiving as many letters as this particular one. So the residents come out, and there was legitimate concern from those who have the lived experience of that area. Legitimate concerns about safety and traffic from people who live there. And I know that all the departments expressed no issues with it. We heard from residents. We heard from the school staff in the building who work with the 300 children that are going to that school. We heard from the staff from the Home and School Association who submitted letters on the behalf. We heard from school administration. And not only that, when it came time to the board level, again, which a board that is heavily represented by resident members, the resident members spoke again in favor, in majority, 4-2, to not approve the application as such. So because of the safety concerns that were identified by the residents, because of the nature of the incompatibility of scale with the development, and I'm going to be supporting the motion here tonight. I don't think it's appropriate, the development that is being proposed for that area. And again, I would encourage everyone to have their own individual vote here tonight, but I will be supporting the motion as it is written, and we will see where it goes. Thank you.
Councilor Ramsey, you're going to, questions called, okay? Again, this is to deny the request. Who's in favor of denying the request? Please put up your hand. Okay. Okay, those against the denial. Okay, 8-1, motion's lost. So you have another resolution? Okay. So you just have to get it signed.
I do, your worship, Planning and Heritage Resolution number 7, the alternate resolution, moved by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff and seconded by, who else is on that?
And you got someone else. Get Councilman Tart.
Councilman Tart?
Yeah, he can sign it. Just need a seconder.
Thank you. And seconded by Councillor Justin Matart. Let it be resolved that the following rezoning request for the unaddressed subject properties identified as PID numbers 349035 and 1179829 on Viceroy Avenue be approved. To rezone the subject properties from the single detached residential R-1L zone to the low-density residential R-2 zone to facilitate the future subdivision of the subject properties into 3 new lots, each containing a semi-detached dwelling for a total of 6 new dwelling units.
Councilor Twill?
Just a clarification, when the second resolution comes forward at that particular time, will there be further consultation with the community?
Deputy?
That will decide on what the applicant puts in for an application. If his application requires a variance, then variances don't go to public consultation, but they do go through planning board and to council. And so if it comes through planning board, I will certainly give anyone an opportunity to seek clarification and ask questions during that planning board meeting. Yeah, but variances don't go on to a public consultation. No, major variances don't go to public consultation. Yep, just rezonings do.
But as you said, at the planning board, someone wishes to speak to it, the chair has the option to open up the floor. Question called? Questions called? All those in favor? Okay, against? 8-1, Councillor Beck. Okay, do we have another resolution?
We have 2, your worship. Planning and Heritage Resolution number 8, moved by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Norman Beck. Let it be resolved that the following rezoning request and the request for official plan amendment for the unaddressed subject property identified as PID number 363515 on Birchwood Street be approved. To amend Appendix A, the future land use map of the City of Charlottetown from low-density residential to institutional, and a request to amend Appendix G, zoning map of the Charlottetown zoning and development bylaw from R-2 low-density residential to I institutional for the property located on Birchwood Street immediately north and adjacent to the Birchwood School, PID number 363515.
Questions called? Oh, Councillor Twill.
Just before we vote on the resolution, I hope that there's going to be enhanced and improved communications between the school branch, administration, senior management at Birchwood Junior High School, and the City of Charlottetown here going forward. They never even showed up to give a presentation at the public meeting. There was no representation. I understand why they're doing it. I'm not opposed to that. I'm opposed to the fact that there was lack of communications.
Good, okay. Duly noted? Okay, thank you very much. Questions called? All those in favor? Councilor McCabe?
In favor.
What's that? Yay? Okay.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Planning and Heritage Resolution number 9, your worship, moved by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Norman Beck. Let it be resolved that the following requests for a site-specific amendment to the zoning and development bylaw for the subject property identified as 16-18 Hemlock Court, PID number 440875, to permit an additional dwelling unit, brackets third unit, for the subject property within the single detached residential R-1L zone be approved to proceed to public consultation.
Okay. Questions called? Thank you, Councilor Ramsey. All those in favor? Councilor McCabe, yea or nay?
In favor.
Okay. Okay, sir. I think you have a first reading, correct?
That's correct, Your Worship. The City of Charlottetown amendment to adopt the official planned amendment, PH-0PA.1-053, that the land use for the unaddressed parcel on Birchwood Street, PID number 363515, as shown on Appendix A, future land use map of City of Charlottetown official plan, is designated as institutional, hereby excluding it from its former designation of low-density residential. Let it be resolved that the official plan amendment, PH-0PA.1-053, as it pertains to the unaddressed parcel on Birchwood Street, PID number 363515, as attached, be adopted. Moved by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Norman Beck.
Shall it pass? Okay.
First reading of the zoning and development bylaw, PH-ZD.2, to adopt the bylaw PH-ZD.2-103, a bylaw to amend the zoning and development bylaw, to amend Appendix G of zoning map of the zoning and development bylaw from the low-density residential single R-2S zone to the institutional I zone for the unaddressed parcel on Birchwood Street, PID number 363515. Let it be resolved that the bylaw to amend the City of Charlottetown zoning and development bylaw, PH-ZD.2-103, as it pertains to the unaddressed parcel on Birchwood Street, PID number 363515, as attached, be read for the first time and approved, and that it be read for a second time in the next public meeting of council. Moved by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Norman Beck.
Shall I carry? Carry. Okay. Councilor McCabe, good?
Yes, I am, Your Worship.
Okay, hold on just one second. Okay. Another one?
The City of Charlottetown Amendment, the first reading of the zoning and development bylaw, PH-ZD.2, to adopt the bylaw PH-ZD.2-102, a bylaw to amend the zoning and development bylaw, to amend Appendix G, the zoning map of the zoning and development bylaw from the single detached residential R-1L zone to the low-density residential R-2 zone for the unaddressed parcels on Viceroy Avenue, PID numbers 349035 and 1179829. Let it be resolved that the bylaw to amend the City of Charlottetown zoning development bylaw, PH-ZD.2-102, as it pertains to the unaddressed parcels on Viceroy Avenue, PID numbers 349035 and 1179829, as attached, be read for the first time and approved, and that it be read for a second time at the next public meeting of council. Moved by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff and seconded by Councillor Justin Mattard.
Do you wish to speak to it, Deputy? Just 1 second. Go ahead.
No, just really just to state that if anyone was in conflict during the actual resolution, that they should recuse themselves for the first reading as well.
Right. And that person that recused herself, Councilor McCabe? Councilor McCabe?
Yes, yeah.
You're in conflict on this first reading?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor? Okay, contrary? 8-1. Okay, just 1 second. Counselor. Back. Opposed. And Counselor. Okay, incompetent. Okay. Is that it there, Deputy? Thank you very much. Thank you. Mr. Gundram, Mr. Russ, thank you very much. Okay. Next report is, I believe, economic development, correct? And I'm going to ask Councillor Bernard, please speak to your report. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Worship. Your Worship, Economic, Tourism and Cultural Development Committee met on October 2nd. There is one resolution for council consideration, and there's a first reading to amend the tourism accommodation levy, Your Worship. I do have some highlights for council. Small Business Week 2025, Worship, takes place October 19th to the 25th, celebrating small businesses and their invaluable contributions to our economy and their communities. The week will feature a variety of events by partners, workshops, and resources designed to help entrepreneurs connect, learn, and grow. So, Downtown Charlottetown Inc., as you are aware, Your Worship, is again offering its parking forgiveness program in partnership with the city from October 1 to December 31st. And for more details, people can visit downtowncharlottetown.com. And looking ahead, Your Worship, this weekend we'll host the Charlottetown Film Festival, the PEI Marathon, and later this month we'll welcome the ACAA Soccer Championship and the Field Hockey Canada University National Championship. So we're still able to attract lots of championships to our city, Your Worship. And the Charlottetown Scarecrow Festival, as everybody can see, is in full swing, and it continues through to the end of October. So, Your Worship, if there's any questions on the report, I'll do my best to answer them.
Councillor Twill.
Thank you for your report, Councillor Bernard. Not sure if you mentioned Farm Day in the city, but we had a very successful Farm Day in the city. I attended. There had to be well over 10,000 people attend that event. We had vendors from Grafton Street right down to Water Street, both sides of the street. People were very happy. The vendors were extremely happy. I'd like to recommend that the city of Charlottetown reconsider the farmers market that's down at Confederation Landing. Reconsider it going back to Queen Street. Talked to some of the vendors. They were very pleased with the results of that particular day. They found it much more functional, much more advantageous, and I think that's something we need to look at as a committee and as a council. So I did talk to some of the vendors. I did tell them that I would bring this issue up on their behalf. It was very, very successful. It was successful when it was there previously. That is the farmers market before it was relocated to Confederation Landing. And as you know, it's a joint that to go to Confederation Landing. Parks and Rec has to sign off on that as well. But you know, last year when we made that decision, council made the decision. This particular year, staff made the decision. So it's something for further discussions, further deliberations. And I think it's the time's right to reconsider having the farmers market back on Queen Street. After, you know, there's extended consultation with the vendors, the business community in Queen Street to make sure all the equation's all inclusive. Thank you.
Councillor Bernard. Farmers Day. Farm Day in the city.
Again, you sit on this committee.
I understand
so
that.
you can bring that to committee anytime. As you're probably aware, we have staff that are looking into the issues on Queen Street. I think Mike Rush has done a report for us, so we're reviewing that to see what we can do to upgrade electricity and so on to be able to bring it back onto Queen Street. So But again, you can bring that up again at our committee, and we'll discuss it further.
I just wanted to bring it up here for the public record.
Sure.
And Councillor Bernard, I'm glad you bring that up because there were electrical issues for
Yep.
some of the vendors.
Yep.
Hanson were there most of the day trying to correct what was going on, but that has to be addressed.
That's correct,
Correct?
yeah, that's correct, yeah.
Councillor Beck?
Yeah, just to follow up on that, I too had discussions with vendors down around Confederation Landing when I had made a visit earlier, and I would have to say the reaction was mixed. Some do prefer Queen Street, some prefer it down there. So I'm glad to hear that it is being looked at to try and figure out where is the right thing. And I trust that a report will be forthcoming at some point in time too, but I think both have pros and cons. And I think depending on which vendor you are, depends on whether you are supportive of either locale. So I am glad it's being looked at. Thank you for that. I just had a question, Councillor Bernard. At the last council meeting, when we were discussing the fee waiving policy,
Yep.
I had asked about, is there any requirement to put a limit? Because I think we had limited the forgiveness to one ticket per week as part of the agreement. And it was mentioned that it was going to be brought back to committee, but I didn't see anything in the committee minutes that reflected a discussion, or I don't see it here. So I'm wondering, I think there was going to be a discussion with DCI or downtown Charlottetown, I think, who were kind of overseeing this project, if I'm correct. So I'm just wondering if there had been any discussion, or if that is going to be looked at, that we do not cap the number of tickets that we would forgive in a week, because I think in the original agreement it said maximum of one ticket forgiven per week. And I know that was part of a discussion, but
Yep.
if you could update me on that, please. Thanks.
Yep, no problem. So we meet on that topic on Thursday this week. So we just hadn't had that meeting yet, and we've been in discussions with DCI, so we'll be discussing that at our meeting. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Ramsey? You have a question?
Yes, I do, Your
Okay,
Worship,
sir.
thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Sitting on the same committee, I'd like to thank everybody and all the staff, city staff and everything. I attended the U15 National Soccer Tournament on the weekend. It was well-run, well put on. The venues were perfect. The Terry Fox, UPEI, and Parkman, things went well, and I had a special interest there because my granddaughter played for it. But at the same time, it was well-run, so I certainly like to thank all the staff and for their effort.
You can mention that during your Parks and Rec update. We brought in,
Yeah,
you guys
yeah.
did the work. Anyway,
I was gonna save it until your Parks and Recreation report. Anyways. Anything else, sir? Good?
yep.
Okay. Want to read the resolution?
Economic and Tourism and Cultural Development Resolution Number 1, moved by Councillor Terry Bernard and seconded by Councillor Mitchell Tweel. Let it be resolved that council agrees to enter into a memorandum of understanding with the Hotel Association of PEI, Discover Charlottetown, Meet PEI, and the Charlottetown Special Events Reserve Fund regarding the tourism accommodation levy as attached, and that the mayor and the CEO are hereby authorized to execute standard contracts and agreements to implement this resolution.
So, Your Worship, I'll just give a little update on this, but the existing tourism accommodation levy, the memorandum of understanding established between the City of Charlottetown, the Hotel Association, Discovery Charlottetown, Meet PEI, and now the Charlottetown Special Events Reserve Fund is up for renewal. So, as part of this renewal process, the city staff and legal counsel have updated the MOU in collaboration with partner organizations. So the revisions address several areas, including in general housekeeping, partners, roles, and deliverables, and the terms of the agreement. So just to give everybody a sense of what the MOU is, why we're doing this now. Thank you.
Question, Councillor Drawn? Want to call the question? Call the question. Okay. All in favor? Councillor McCabe?
In favor.
Okay. To report, sir? Thank you. Oh, yes, thank you very much.
Your Worship, City of Charlottetown Tourism Accommodation Levy Bylaw, Amendment Bylaw Number 2019-TAL-1C, amend the City of Charlottetown Tourism Accommodation Levy bylaw to ensure alignment with the Municipal Government Act and add authority and application sections. Incorporate a levy increase from 3% to 4%, along with the housekeeping amendments to improve clarity and ensure consistency throughout the bylaw. First reading, let it be resolved that the bylaw to amend the City of Charlottetown Tourism Accommodation Levy bylaw be read a first time, moved by Councillor Terry Bernard and seconded by Councillor Kevin Ramsey.
Shall I pass? Councillor McCabe?
Yes, pass.
Let it be resolved that the bylaw not now be approved as a city bylaw and it to be entitled the City of Charlottetown Tourism Accommodation Levy Bylaw, number 2019-TAL-1, and it be read a second time at the next public meeting of council. Moved by Councillor Terry Bernard and seconded by Councillor Kevin Ramsey.
Shall I carry? Councillor McCabe?
Pass.
Thank you. And that's it, sir. Thank you kindly. Next standing committee report is Strategic Priorities, Communications, and Intergovernmental Cooperation. Councillor Justin Materet, Ward 2.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Strategic Priorities, Communication, Intergovernmental Cooperation Committee met on September 25th, and the draft minutes are included in your package. There's one resolution for your consideration this evening, and if there's any questions, I'll do my best to address them for you. Thank you.
Your Worship?
Yes.
I'm just wondering if reading your minutes, Councillor Matert, I noticed that your strategic plan, there was a presentation done for your committee, just kind of on updates to where we are with the strategic plan that will be coming to an end in 2026. Wondering about an appetite to maybe get that to council of the whole for whether it's just a council of the whole meeting or an educational session. I'd be really interested to be able to ask questions and, be updated on specific areas.
Councillor Materet.
Thank you, Your Worship. And to Councillor McCabe, thank you very much for your question. Most definitely love to have an opportunity to come out of our committee meeting and present the 2022 to 2026 strategic plan updates. Give an opportunity for all of council. We didn't have the opportunity to review the update online, but I think it would be great to have a committee of the whole meeting so that Melanie, who's done a great job of putting together the package and the update to kind of benchmark where we are as we're coming into our final term of this 4-year term, and we'll be looking to start towards a new strategic plan for 2026 up to 2030. So that's a great suggestion, and I'll leave it with the CAO to coordinate that. I think that I don't think we need to officially come out of our committee for that because it was one of the action items we talked about at our meeting was to socialize that with the rest of council and an opportunity to ask questions. So it would likely be a separate meeting because it did take us about 45 minutes or more to get through the report. It's quite lengthy, but certainly was a good opportunity to go through the action items that we had and to do some reporting and ask questions. So thank you, Councillor McCabe, and we'll make sure that happens.
Yeah. And again, just to reiterate what you said, big thanks to Melanie.
Yes,
Bailey.
Melanie, who did
Melanie
she
did a
is
lot
back
of work there.
Melanie is with us here this evening as well, so sorry, Melanie, I didn't see you back there. But more importantly, I think, not only for the current strategic plan we have, but also for the upcoming one that we need to work towards for the future of the city. So we need to start working on that as well.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, she gave a very exhaustive report, but that's Melanie. She gives lots of details. Thank you. So we have a resolution there, CAO Brad?
We do, Your Worship. Strategic Priorities, Communication and Intergovernmental Cooperation Resolution Number 1, moved by Councillor Justin Matart and seconded by Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff. Let it be resolved, whereas by resolution dated October 22nd, 2024, Council established a priority list for the creation of new bylaws and the amendments of those of existing bylaws. And whereas a proposal proposed capital construction bylaw was identified as item number 8 on the priority list. And whereas members of council have raised concerns regarding the nature and potential impacts of this bylaw, therefore be it resolved that the proposed capital construction bylaw be removed from council's priority list.
Good job, buddy.
It was.
Good
yeah.
job.
It was.
And actually, other communities are copying what we're doing because Halifax has suspended the development permits, and the federal government has asked municipalities to do it too, so, yeah. Okay, question was called. All in favor? Councillor McCabe?
In favor.
Okay, Councillor Twill left the room. Is that it? Good, okay, thank you, sir. Okay, next one is Protective and Emergency Services, and I believe Councillor Bond.
Councillor Duran is going to, do my report for me this evening, Your Worship.
Councillor Duran.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. Our Protective and Emergency Services Committee met on September 16th, 2025, and the minutes are included in your package. We don't have any resolutions coming forward for your consideration, but if you go to 6D in the notes, the fire underwriters will be discussed at the October 28th special meeting of council. So that's coming forward. We're going to have a meeting at that time, and our chief is going to give us an update in a closed session. So if anyone has any questions you want to discuss about the minutes, I'll gladly try to answer them as best I can. Thank you.
Great report there, Councillor Duran. Yes. Any questions for Councillor Duran? Okay, well. Okay, can we go to the next report? Moving along here. This is Councillor Duran, Water, Sewer, Utility. See Josh is here, and I see that Mr. McEwen's here, and
Thank you, Mayor Brown. The Water and Sewer Utility Committee did not meet since the last regular meeting of council, and there are no reports or resolutions for your consideration. We are meeting on Friday, the 17th of this week at noon, so we'll have notes for our next meeting and the special meeting on October 28th. We'll have a report for that. So if anybody wants me to ask anything about water and sewer, feel free. We don't have a report, but ask a question if you want.
okay, Councillor Wheel.
Thank you, Councillor Duran. I wanted to, as you know, previous months I asked for a status report on the contract with the fiber optics provider. I don't know if the contract was ever signed. Has the work been completed? And has there been any financial installments made to the provider? I'm just looking for, a status report as to where we're at with those three issues that I've outlined. Thank you.
Councillor Duran.
Thank you, Councillor Twill, for those questions. We asked those same questions at the committee meeting last month. We were looking for an update, which we'll get on Friday. And else, Josh, you want to give an update now? I know it's putting you on the spot, but you can forward it to Friday, and then I'll give a synopsis to Councillor Twill at that time, or feel free to tell him whatever he wants now. That'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Duran. Absolutely. So we do plan to have a discussion on this on Friday, and you're more than welcome to attend that discussion. And then that way you'll be fully privy to the items that as they arise. So we will have a discussion on that on Friday.
And Councillor Duran, there will be a resolution coming forward too? Are you there? Okay, go ahead.
Yes, we do have one coming forward. We discussed it, the manager, myself, and the members of the committee, so we know the agenda's coming, and that will be on it. And so hopefully we can get things in order, get them moving as quick as we can. Thank you.
Councillor Twill, follow up, second question.
No, I appreciate that, Councilor Drawn and the manager there from Water and Sewer. No, I see, you know, the amenities throughout the city. And I just, for my own state of mind, just looking for, you know, for that status report. I'm not sure since the fiber optics, when that installment first began, correct me if I'm wrong, are we looking at 4 years now? Is that safe to say? I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but it's been, I believe it's 4 years. And I don't think we as a city anticipated, you know, that type of timetable. And there may be, you know, there possibly, you know, reasonable explanations for that. But Councilor Drawn, you know that I thought the end was near a number of months ago, and that's why I asked about the, you know, the contract, city solicitors and the city signing off on that. So, again, I'll just reiterate, I'm looking for a comprehensive detailed synopsis with the issues that are brought up. I want to thank you.
Councilor Drawn.
I'd like to respond. Thank you, Mayor Brown. Yes, it's been 6 years. It hasn't been 4, it's been 6. And we've been asking for updates every committee meeting. I think, you know, the frustration kind of boiled over to the last month, and we're coming back with a resolution to get an audit done. There was many times over the last 2 or 3 years that we were close. It was 99% done. You know, it was working, and then it got involved in legal aspects, and our lawyer, their lawyer. You know, it's just been a mismatch, and every month we ask the same questions. So, you know, we're looking forward to coming to an end. We all want it. The committee wants it, and I think staff wants it as well. But there's so many different obstacles every time we meet that, you know, we can't get a hold of the contractor, or, you know, our legal person wasn't available, or they're illegal. It's been given to them, it's been given back, it's been changed. You know, it's frustration all around. So, you know, we are going to address this on Friday. There's going to be a resolution come forward. It'll be bumped up to council to get an audit done, to see what, you know, to answer all your questions, right? And answer ours as well. So hopefully by Friday, we'll have all the answers that you're asking, and we can put this to bed. Thank you.
Thank you for your hard work on it there, Councilor Drawn. I know you've been there right from the start. Yeah, so is Councilor Twill. Okay, next report is Public Works. Councilor Twill, Ward 4.
Thank you. The report's in your package. We have one resolution here tonight for council's consideration. And as you know, there's a lot of big projects that the city of Charlottetown is looking at, more specifically the Public Works Department. We applied for funding. A resolution was passed last month for 4 major projects here in the city. A couple of major projects that are near and dear to me is the infrastructure proposal for Queen Street. Queen Street, as you know, a lot of flooding from, I would suggest, from Douglas Street. You can even take it as far as Pond Street. So it's something that, you know, I've been lobbying here for the last number of years. Looking forward to a report from senior management to the committee, and then to see where we go with that particular project. I know the residents are anxiously awaiting. Anytime we receive a rain event, or there's any type of flooding, all you have to do is look at CBC and on their website, just go back over the years, and they capture it well. The water's very, very high, and it's very troublesome. It creates a lot of anxiety for the residents in that community. So certainly looking forward to what Management and Public Works is proposing. CAO Brad McConnell, you know about the flooding. You've been down there a number of times as you know, deputy chief and chief when I was there, and hopefully we can have some good news relatively soon from a proactive perspective to assure the residents in that community that we're not just being reactive, we're being proactive. I'll do my best to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay. I know Spring Park down by Bayfield and Green Street, after heavy rains, it floods too. I don't know if Councillor Beck has received any calls, but I've driven through it. Spring Park Road, Green Street, Bayfield, floods there. Both, yeah. Question? Questions called? Maybe you have to read the resolution. Just.
Public Works
we get it
Committee Resolution Number 1, moved by Councillor Mitchell Tweel and seconded by Councillor John McAleer. Let it be resolved that, as per the conditions of the public tender for Harts Hall building upgrades, Phase Number 2, interior fit-up, the submission of WM&M Limited in the amount of $988,464 plus all applicable taxes be accepted, and that the mayor and the CEO are hereby authorized to execute standard contracts and agreements to implement this resolution.
Okay. Councillor Duran, Councillor Tweel. Councillor Duran.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. I'm just questioning on this hall. I know we deferred it last month. You know, when this happened a couple of years ago, it was an old hall, and we decided to turn it and put a basement under it. Now, you know, it went over budget at that time. It was near $500,000. Now we're going into $1.136 million, $733 again. So when you combine the two of them, it's over $1.5 million. And now we coming back, we're gonna, I think it's an added feature, is a fire door and egress windows. Can you tell me if the egress windows are in place now, or are we something that we're gonna look at that? Because this is a lot of money for an older hall. I know there's a heritage component, but here we're looking at over $1.5 million. For 10 years, I've been looking at a hall in Sherwood, can't get it. Now we're delayed, we had $500,000, and I think that's where this was going at first, to do the work. So now we're being delayed, we're gonna look into the spring. I just want fairness across the board. I mean, if we can look at $1.5 million for an old building, you know, I don't know where it stops. You know, like I say, you're looking for a fire door, egress windows. Is this already done, or is this an added expense on that? Thank you.
Councillor Tweel.
You know, I want to talk to you first about, you know, the Sherwood Rec Hall on Maple Avenue. I share your frustrations, but I think we made a concerted effort to look at the entire footprint of the city's property. You know, eventually the life expectancy of the arena is going to come to an end, and we want to be visionary. We want to be proactive. We want to look at a concept that the community, and there's going to be public engagement, which I said at our last meeting. We've outlined 4 options. We think we're being respectful and reasonable, providing good governance when it comes to that project. I believe, you know, this is just me talking, but if you look at the model on North River Road with the community component, if we can mirror that, emulate that, duplicate that on Maple Avenue, I believe, sir, you'll be very proud. You'll be very proud. It'll be a great legacy for the people in the Sherwood community, Parkdale, and all through that community. On the Harts Hall, you know, I think the original intent was just to move the building over. The province did, according to Councillor Bernard, the province did put some dollars into the relocation of Harts Hall. I guess from a heritage perspective, we did delay the vote. Deputy Mayor, Chair of Planning and Heritage, she wanted to have a look at it. I believe now she's okay with the features of this facility. You know, it does have a heritage component. Is there a cost? Yes, there is. There's no doubt about it. There is a cost. And I appreciate what you're saying about fairness. So I want you to know that, you know, once we complete this project and some of the questions that you asked. Maybe I can't answer the technical component. I'll ask our manager to address that. But I want you to know that when it comes to fairness and equality, I'm a strong believer. I've stood up in this chamber 1,000 times, equal and fairness across the city of Charlottetown when it comes to facilities, whether it be community facilities, recreational facilities, outdoor rinks, playground equipment, sports fields. I've been a strong advocate, and I don't think anyone here could deny that. So I think when this project's completed, yes, it's a big expenditure, but when that project's completed, I believe it too will leave a legacy for the community of East Royalty, and that investment will be there for the next 50 years. I don't think any of us are going to be around then, but 50 years, and people that particular time will say, well, City Council of the day got it right. Yes, it's a huge investment, but nonetheless, we not only revitalized that facility, but we brought it up to its original character and the original standard that it was, say, a number of decades ago, with with all of the amenities from an environmental and from a sustainable point of view. I'll turn it now over to our manager so he can answer any other technical questions that.
You're going to add about the technical part, or Albert?
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Twill, through to Councillor Duran. So I'm not 100% sure if the egress windows are there. So during the first phase, when we moved the building over, we did put on a new foundation. It is currently not occupable. It doesn't have an occupancy permit, so we do need to finish the basement in order for it to be to have it be occupied, unless we leave it unfinished and just do the top. Again, it did go through the heritage permit, did get approval. The windows, the doors, everything matches what needs to happen. When we move a building like this over, do renovations, because it's an old building, we try to, keep it accountable and make it updated with the newest code requirements. So that's what this takes into consideration as well.
Councillor Duran. Oh, just one sec. Councillor Bernard was up first. You want him to go? Go ahead, Councillor Bernard.
Thank you. And
mean,
I
Councillor Duran.
understand.
Yep.
Thank you. And I understand, but this is a vision. Like, we started this back 2 years ago, and I know you weren't the manager at the time, so I'm not going to blame you on this, Yver. But here we put the money out, put a brand new foundation on it, and now you say, okay, nobody can go in the basement unless we get egress windows, which is normal, right? So you wonder, we paid this contractor money, and now we have to put a fire door in and then egress windows. So that means you're going to have to cut the concrete. That's going to be thousands and thousands of dollars again. So what I ask is, anything moving forward that we take the time and the opportunity to plan for the future, because this is it seems silly to me that we're doing this now, just when we did it 6 months ago. So here, we got to go to code, which that's normal. But I just don't understand how this got passed without doing the egress windows and the fire door. So no disrespect to you. I know you're very knowledgeable, you're very good at your job, but it's frustrating when it's a waste of money to me. Thank you.
Councillor Bernard.
Thank you, Your Worship. I just want to add that, and it's not taken away from Councillor Duran's project. I mean, when we did the budget this year, we put money in for design to be done. And we needed design to be done to be able to move to the next step. And I understand Parks and Recreation is looking at the whole property, Sherwood Hall, Cody Banks, Bonash. So that has to be done first. This is a city asset and a city property, and it's been left to fall into disrepair. And anytime you let something fall into disrepair, it's going to cost quite a bit to bring it up to standard. So, and I think it was last year that the work was done. So last year, the first phase was done. This is the second phase that we're trying to get completed. So it's a bit of an eyesore right now. not a bit of an eyesore. It is an eyesore. It's on the St. Peter's Road. It's our asset, and so the city is out to repair it and bring it up to standards. And you're going to repair it and bring it up to standards, you might as well do it right the first time. So that's why it's costly. So, but I just want to reiterate that this is not taken away from another project. The money was in the budget for doing design. Parks and Rec is doing the design now. So the next capital budget will be capturing the work at Sherwood and the Sherwood Hall and where we go from there. So, thank you.
Well, I share Councillor Duran's frustration because he's been asking now, not the last couple of years, last few plus years, I think in the last council. So now we got a bigger project, and when's that going to be done? That's what Councillor Duran keeps asking. Councillor McKinnon.
Thank you, Your Worship. I'm agreeing with Councillor Duran here. This is a lot of money, like $1.5 million. When it first came to council, it was for moving the building, putting on a new foundation, and now we're at another 100 million. Mr. Chair, is there any, moving forward, is there any expected expenses that we can expect in the future if we approve this? Sorry, Mr. Chair, is there any expenses moving forward that we should be expecting that's going to come to council for this this project?
Councillor Twill.
That's a good question. From what I understand, this project here, you know, we've gone over thoroughly. That's the expenditure. It's before council. Will there be any other expenditures? I mean, one never knows when you're dealing with an older building. You don't know what's going to come up. What may arise? It could be a small expenditure. It could be 5,000. Could be 10,000. I'm not sure, but I believe what's in front of council tonight has been vetted by our senior management team, working with Planning and Heritage Department to make sure that all those heritage features and all those prerequisites are respected. That's the best I can answer.
Okay. Question? Questions called. All those in favor, please raise your hand. Councillor McCabe, yea or nay?
In favor.
All those against? Councillor Duran, A. Councillor McKinnon, 8-2. Carried. Okay. Is that it, Councillor Twill? Just the one resolution? Yeah. Okay. Environment Sustainability, and this is Councillor Trevor McKinnon. Go ahead, sir.
Thank you, Your Worship. Just get everything up to speed here. Environment Sustainability Committee met on September 10th, 2025. Draft minutes are in your package. No resolutions for your consideration, and I have a few highlights I'd like to share. So, purchase of transit shelters and benches noted in 6A in the package. In the minutes, was officially approved by council during the special council meeting held on September 23rd, 2025. Ridership in September of 2025 saw 139,461 trips, slight decrease from the same month of 2024. However, there's been positive feedback presented for the new services added this summer to East Royalty and the internal road at UPEI, and continue to monitor ridership growth. Once again, the city will be hosting Waste Reduction Week this month from the 20th to the 26th. Annual event allows residents to learn solutions for reducing waste. Events include a mending class, food waste reduction workshop, free clothing swap, and of course, a Fix-It fair. See all the schedule of events, visit charlottetown.ca/waste week. This month, staff from Environment and Sustainability attended and spoke at the Livable Cities Forum in Halifax. They connected with over 400 community leaders across Canada to learn creative and ambitious solutions to further our climate action goals. On October 5th, staff trialed new natural lawn maintenance. You may have seen this on Compass. Sheep grazing, They worked with a local sheep farmer and were on site to speak with curious members of the community. The pilot was successful. Staff will be exploring other areas of the city where sheep and other grazing ruminant animals such as goats could be used to maintain hard-to-mow grassy areas, manage invasive species, and reduce carbon emissions. Investigate natural green gas maintenance is a goal to the Climate Action Plan. Planning of large street and park trees in partnership with Parks and Rec and Public Works is underway across the city. And several successful community planting events were held in Evergreen Park with Tree Canada and TD, Friends of the Environment. Staff and volunteers planted over 400 trees and shrubs to improve biodiversity and storm water management. And finally, the Better Homes Neighborhood Energy Project will be offered this year for residents of Hillsborough Park. An information session will take place from 4 to 6 p.m. on October 22nd at the Hillsborough Park Community Center. Registration for the program will take place in person or online October 23rd, 9 a.m. Sorry, one more. 3 projects for which the city applied to the Provincial Active Transportation Fund have been awarded funding. The province will contribute $5,000 to grow the bike bus program, $50,000 for wayfinding and active transportation comfort infrastructure, and $100,000 to the rapid implementation or quick build active transportation projects. That's my report, Your Honor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Trevor McKinnon, Ward 8. Question there, Councillor Beck? No? Oh. Councillor Bernard.
Thank you. I just want to make comment on the Better Homes program that he talked about. I know when I was in the environment, it got going. It was a very popular program, and it's good to see here now that they're looking to increase that throughout the year, as opposed to just doing it in a few areas once a year. It's from the feedback that I've received, it's a lot of really good information on new energy efficiency. A lot of people don't know, but they can do it in their homes. A lot of low cost that makes a big difference in their electric bill. So thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, good. Let's move on to Finance, Audit, Administration. Councillor John McAleer.
Thank you, Mayor Brown. As you have it in front of you there, the Finance, Audit, Tender, and Administration Committees has had 2 meetings since I last reported here. Met on Wednesday, September 17th. Also on Wednesday, October the 8th for their regular meetings, and those minutes are included in your packages. There are 2 resolutions for your consideration, and pleased to have before you tonight for your discussion and feedback. The first reading to establish, believe it or not, the City of Charlottetown's procurement bylaw. City of Charlottetown has never had a procurement bylaw, and this is our first pass at it this evening. Looking forward to the discussion on it and see where that goes. Respectfully submit it, and I'll do my best to answer any questions that you may have. And in the absence of that, Manager Lane Pino is here and to answer and clarify anything that I can't in terms of future discussion. Thank you.
Okay. Do you want to read the first resolution there? Oh, do you have a question in the report, Councillor Beck? Okay, just go ahead.
Yeah, it was just page 366. It was referencing the funding applications related to possibly covering the costs of Spencer Drive. And it was mentioned that the results should be available in September or October. Just wondering if there is any, I know it might go through to Richard, I'm not sure, but just wondering if there was any update on that. Thank you.
Councillor McAleer.
Thank you for that question, Councillor Beck. That's on top of my mind as well, but I'll defer to staff on that if there's any kind of a recent update. Thank you.
Mr. Russ or Mr. McEwen?
Thank you, Worship. And through yourself and the chair, just on that question about the funding program, we're still waiting for final word on what could be awarded. We understand that there's been a bit of an update on kind of the different costs that are being covered. So our Director of Community Services team has been working on updating those costs, and I believe that's been submitted now back to the province for consideration. So we'll hopefully have more information in the coming month.
Is that SHIF, Canadian Housing Infrastructure Fund? Province?
That's correct.
So it's a federal program administered by the province?
There's two streams. One is a direct stream with the municipalities, and the second is a stream in partnership with the province. That is the stream that we have been working on.
Thank you. Councillor Beck? Good. Okay, want to read the resolution now? Oh, sorry, there. Just one. Deputy, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. And you'll note in the minutes from the finance meeting that I had requested that the procurement policy and bylaw be forwarded to committee of a whole for a fulsome presentation and discussion. And it was agreed to in our minutes, but I'm not prepared to vote on the first reading tonight. Did I miss something? I thought we were doing this at committee of a whole and having a big old, chit chat and discussion about it, but I don't know, did I miss something?
Yeah, well, we have 3 opportunities to speak to it. That's under the new procedural bylaw. And it was purposed we've been waiting a long time to get this through, so I know you did ask, but looking at 3 opportunities to speak to it, I thought if you're going to look at it and go over it, might as well do it in the regular monthly meeting of council and get this moving through the system. Councillor Beck?
I support the deputy in that. I found that when we had our discussion on the procedural bylaw itself, I think committee of the whole lends itself to an entirely different nature of discussion. Don't give me a shake in the head. That's my opinion, Your Worship. I made the comment. You gave me a shake of the head. So I'm expressing my opinion.
Come on, Alfred.
Just yes, it was disrespectful. It was disrespectful. We'll agree to disagree on that. Secondly, when we're having the discussion about that in the committee of the whole, we have the opportunity to speak freely and a much more casual format. I think when we get into this particular official reading with the 3 times to speak, I think it changes the nature of it. It allows for much more informal discussion. We're able to hear various points of views that maybe we never would have thought of that come up. So I think I would agree with the deputy. I'm not prepared to support this tonight either. And I would put a motion of deferral and that we put a motion to defer it until it goes into a committee of the whole meeting, and we will address it at that time.
So Councillor Beck has moved a resolution to defer it. Seconded. Well,
Okay.
that's where we're still going ahead, but Councillor McCabe, did you want to speak to this?
I'm on the same path, Your Worship. There's some parts of this. I mean, I would like to have, I think we've been waiting, you're right, for a long time. And there's, certain points that I'd like to see more clarity on for sure. I don't know if doing it during a regular meeting of council gives us enough time to actually have those important discussions.
So let's deal with the 2 resolutions, and then when we get to reading to establish, because it has monthly report, two resolutions. First reading to establish the City of Charlottetown procurement bylaw. So we'll do the first, second resolution.
Finance, Audit, and Tendering and Administration Resolution Number 1, moved by Councillor John McAleer and seconded by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff. Let it be resolved that Council approve the amendments to Schedule C of the Fees Bylaw Number 2018-18, and that Council note amendments to Schedule E, Water and Sewer Utility, were approved as part of the 2025-26 budget process, and that all other schedules remain the same. And that further, that Council note the additional resolutions impacting fees are required to include the following line. And that Schedules A through F of the fees bylaw be amended to reflect this change.
Questions called? Okay, all those in favor? Okay. Councilor McCabe, yea or nay?
In favor.
Okay, 10-0. Next one, sir. What's that? If you read it, it's, Mr. McEwen, did you want to address his question? What's your question? Councilor Twill?
Fee schedule.
As noted in the resolution, the water and sewer rates were addressed at budget time. To update the other fees for the city of Charlottetown.
Okay,
Already voted on it.
okay. We already voted on it. Okay. Next resolution.
Finance, Audit, Tendering, and Administration Resolution Number 2, moved by Councillor John McAleer and seconded by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff. Let it be resolved the Council hereby repeals the existing City of Charlottetown procurement policy number P-FIN-1 and adopts the attached procurement policy number P-FIN-10 to take effect October 14th, 2025.
Councilor Bernard.
I think if we're going to go and have a committee of the whole on the new procurement bylaw, probably don't want to take this one out tonight, or we're going to be left with none. So I think this stays until we have that meeting that everybody wants, and I think we should have.
So, do you want to move a resolution to defer it?
I will, sure.
Moved. Okay, second by Councilor Ramsey. Okay, all in favor of the deferral? Okay, all against? Councilor McCabe?
I'm in favor of a deferral.
So that's 9-1. Councilor Duran opposed. Okay. Now, do you want to go to the procedural bylaw? Procurement bylaw. Yep. Go ahead.
Your Worship, City of Charlottetown Procurement Bylaw 2025 Procure-01 to establish the City of Charlottetown Procurement Bylaw, which will fulfill obligations pursuant to the provisions of the Municipal Government Act and to inform council, staff, and suppliers and the public how the City of Charlottetown will purchase or procure goods, services, and contracts of construction. First reading, that the City of Charlottetown Procurement Bylaw be read a first time, moved by Councillor John McAleer and seconded by Deputy Mayor Alana Yankoff.
Okay. So Councilor Beck wants to move a deferral. Second by Councilor, nope, Deputy Mayor Yankoff. Okay.
I've already explained my rationale for it.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I think I'm good.
Question? Question's called. All in favor of the deferral? Councilor McCabe?
In favor.
All against? Councilor Duran? Okay, I have to put deferral on that. Okay. Counselor? Good. Okay, Human Resources, Counselor Beck.
Thank you, Your Worship. Human Resource Committee has not met since the last meeting. I will remind people that we did have a deferral on the CAO process, performance evaluation process. That will be coming forth at a meeting that we will have determined by His Worship at some point in time, but it will be forthcoming in the future. And if any other questions, feel free to pass those along as well.
Counselor Twill.
Thank you, Councillor Beck. I just looking for clarification from yourself as the chair of the Human Resource Committee, and it's concerning the whole process. You know, we have city's bargaining team, we have bargaining team representing 830. There's a lot of misinformation in the community as to what role city council plays in this whole equation. And what I'm looking for is, does city council take its direction from the bargaining unit representing management, or does management, and more specifically the bargaining unit, take its direction from city council? I want to put that out there in the community because there's so much confusion. We have a lot of miscommunications, misperceptions in the community that city council's not involved. We're not involved in the deliberations at the bargaining level. That's understood. It's always been that way. But council does play a role when it comes to giving direction. So I'm just looking for you to give us a clarification as to the process. Not what's being discussed, but just the process. Because there's so much confusion out in that community. And they're getting misperceptions, miscommunications. Thank you.
Counselor Beck.
Thank you for that, Councillor Twill. I think it's been explained to us on multiple occasions that the deliberations are left to professional bargaining units. The city has professional bargaining units. The union has professional bargaining units. I've done some questioning to see if this has ever happened before anywhere. To my knowledge, it has not happened at the provincial level, and it has never happened at the municipal level where either cabinet or government has gotten involved or whether council has gotten involved. I will say that I would love to see a resolution to this. I am not a professional negotiator. That is not what we as council are brought in to do, and we are not, that's not our area of expertise or our lane. And my hope is that a deal can be successfully concluded at the bargaining table, but my belief is that we have to continue to allow our professional staff on both sides to come up to a successful resolution at the table. So I think that has been clarified on multiple occasions, and that's a position that I would support.
Councillor Twill.
I agree with you that the deliberations and discussions lies directly with the bargaining units of the two respective entities. We have a bargaining unit representing 830. We have a bargaining unit representing the city of Charlottetown. But I guess from an authoritative perspective, it's always been, since my time here at City Council, that at the end of the day, it's City Council and please correct me if I'm wrong, or someone in this chamber can correct me if I'm wrong, but it's city council that either approves or rejects in the final analysis what's either agreed upon or not agreed upon. That's all I'm looking for. Like at the end of the day, who makes the final decision? I believe it's city council. And I'm just looking for that clarification. Thank you.
You are correct, Councillor Twill. We agree, we decide whether we agree with the final collective answer that is derived or arrived at between the two bargaining units. It's not our role to get involved in that process. At the end of the day, we look at it after our bargaining team comes back and the bargaining team of the CUPE goes back and they decide whether they can come up with a mutually agreeable contract, comes to us, then we make the decision. That's when we get involved. Up until that point, that's not our job. That's not our responsibility. And it's important that we, and again, I will reiterate, I would love to get this resolved tomorrow if we could. But I don't think we should be getting involved in that process. And when that decision is culminated, we will make a decision as to whether that's the appropriate result for the city and for the residents of the city as well, and for the employees who are working within the corporation.
Thank you, sir. Councillor Ramsey, your park report, Parks, Recreation, Leisure Activities. Councillor Kevin Ramsey, Ward 5.
There we go. Parks and Recreation met October 7th. The draft minutes are in your package. We have one resolution. And when I brought it up about the national tournament there, I just wanted to thank the Economic Development crew for winning the bid on it. But I certainly like to thank our Parks and Recreation staff for all the work that they did over this past weekend. And if there's any questions, we'll certainly try and answer them. Thank you.
Councillor Twill.
Thank you, Councillor Ramsey. Just wanted to ask a question regarding the artificial field turf for Simmons. As you know, we passed a resolution in April. It's been several months now. I believed once we passed that resolution, the money was approved by council with capital project, and I guess what I'm looking for from a specific point of view is why didn't the artificial field turf construction begin and conclude for this year? Because the resolution was passed in April, and there's a lot of excitement, a lot of hype. A lot of the participants and user groups are looking forward to it. I too, I'll put my heart and soul into that project, and I wanted to see that come to fruition for this year. So I'm looking for an explanation, and more specifically, the user groups are looking for an explanation. Thank you.
Thank you for that, Councillor Twill. I believe the RFQs went out recently, Manager Frank, and we all seen the press release by the privateers and all that too. It's we're hoping to go, if everything works out, the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed, and work is done by July of next year, that the field will be open. We're hoping, but I'll certainly let our manager speak to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Ramsey, through to Councillor Twill. So yes, so the RFP was just posted for engineering services, just closed today. We're reviewing the proposals. We'll be bringing that to the next council meeting, which is hopefully later in October, and then we'll start the process of design. The design and engineering part is a big part of this job. There's a lot of options for product out there. We want to make sure we do this right when we do it. And we didn't get started quite as early as would have wanted. We had a very dry summer, so we know that site, if we started construction in the middle of the summer, it would have created a lot of dust. Also, there was some discussion about the CFL, and then all of a sudden there was a recent announcement that the field size has changed, is smaller. So that's going to impact the actual turf field as well, because that's going to, so we need to confirm that as well. The new CFL field size and how that impacts football. And then also, we'll be working with all the user groups to confirm the sizes of the fields for there. So we would hope to have something coming, working on the design, potentially have a tender that'd be awarded early in the year, have an early start in the spring, and in the RFP, it indicated that the deadline would be July 31st. That we'd hope to have the field done by.
Councillor Twill, third time.
Second time. Thank you, Manager Frank. From what I'm given to understand, and I've talked to representatives from the football community, that Football Canada is still staying steadfast with the traditional, conventional field dimensions. That means end zones, that means where the goalposts are, where, I think it's 120 by so many yards. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention as well, that Football Canada is still maintaining field dimensions from a traditional and from a conventional sense.
Thank you, Councillor Twill. So we'll have to confirm those details. This is what's complicated things a bit as well right now in designing the football field. We want to make sure when we build this, there's quite a difference in the size of the fields. One's 100, one's 110, and the end zones being 15 and 20. Placement of the actual uprights being on the 110 line versus being at the end zone lines for the new CFL. So before we do this, we need to have all that confirmed and make sure we're building something that's going to be around for the next 10 to 15, 20 years.
Councillor Ramsey.
Yes, Your Worship, and just to sort of bring this point home again, and I know how Councillor Trio loves his football, we all do, but at the same time, it's not a football field. It's a multi-use purpose field. It's going to be for field hockey, for soccer, for football, all the user groups. So we got to get away from that football mentality. Field, it's for everything. So thank you very much.
Yep. Councillor Twill, last time.
No, I have to disagree with you, Councillor Ramsey. When we passed the resolution, I moved the resolution, it was a multi-purpose sports field. The reason why I emphasize the football is that they've been going for a number of years without a permanent home. We wanted to make sure the proper field dimensions are in place. So I've always advocated that this is a multi-purpose sports field for all of our user groups, all inclusive,
Okay.
right from day one.
Okay.
So just hopefully, no, we
Yeah.
can't get away from football. We need to embrace football.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay? And even the Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, you're done. Okay. Thank you. So just before we go on the resolution, I do want to thank Lori Lunn and her team that chaired the event for the National U15 Championships. Great job, and great job from your department also, Councillor Bernard. So it was a great event. A lot of happy players, coaches, parents, and the whole country was here in Charlottetown.
Thank you for that, Your Worship.
Okay. Councillor McAleer.
When you're saying, and the thank yous, is it economic development? The Moonlight Bazaar, by the way, was a big
good.
hit this year. It was
Another good
well
event.
attended.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful evening and a lot of people around.
Great things happen here.
Great staff's doing a great job.
Okay. Want to read the resolution? Mr. CAO Brad.
Your Worship, Parks, Recreation, and Leisure Activities Resolution Number 1, moved by Councillor Kevin Ramsey and seconded by Councillor Terry Bernard. Let it be resolved as per the recently advertised tender for the Central Field Drainage Upgrade Project, the City of Charlottetown accepts a low bid amount of $76,800 plus applicable taxes from McKay's Backhoe and Trucking, and accepts the amount of $10,785 plus applicable taxes from Coles Associates Limited for engineering fees, project management, and professional services. And due to a shortfall in the Parks and Recreation capital account, Sports Field Development, the request to reallocate $29,500 from the J. Frank McCauley Pathway Phase 2 capital account be approved to cover this shortfall. And further, that the mayor and the CEO are hereby authorized to execute standard contracts and agreements to implement this resolution.
Okay. Councilor Bittard.
Thank you, Your Worship. To the chair, I just wanted to, before I support this resolution, I just want to understand that the Phase 2 component of the J. Frank McCauley has been concluded and completed, and therefore this is just additional surplus dollars that could be reallocated to this particular project, correct?
Yes, that's right, because the project came in under budget for J. Frank McCauley. So we got that extra funding there to do this. Thank you very much for the question.
Doing a great job there, Councilor Ramsey. Finding money all over the place. Question? Questions called. All in favor? Councilor McCabe?
In favor.
Okay, 10-0. Two notice of motions. Again, notice of motion.
Your Worship, Deputy Mayor Lanny Yankoff has the first notice of motion that the City Council directs staff to prepare a draft policy to govern the future placement of monuments, statues, plaques, memorials, and similar installations in city-owned parks, buildings, and other public spaces.
Okay, next one.
The second one by Councillor Mitchell Tweel, a notice of motion that the City Council meet with representatives of local QP 830 representing water and sewer workers to hear directly from employees regarding the recent strike and its impacts.
New business? It's just a notice. That's all it is. Yeah, yeah. Both go forward? Good? Okay, let's go with the first one. City Council directs staff to prepare a draft policy to govern the future placement of monuments, statues, plaques, memorials, and similar installations on city-owned parks, buildings, and other public spaces. All in favor? Councilor McCabe?
In favor.
Yea or nay? Councilor Bernard?
I thought the notice of motions were noticed, and then that would go back to the committee responsible.
But this is
They
to
would
allow
make
to go
the decision
forward.
there, what they're going to do.
This is to allow, this is a green light from council to let it go forward. That's what the notice is. It's in the,
It's in the new bylaws, isn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
Okay.
Go forward to the new committee.
No, but
good, good.
Yep.
Okay,
Your
10-0.
Your Worship, can we identify when we say yes, what committee is, for instance, Deputy Mayor Yankoff's motion going back to? It's not inherently
No,
obvious here.
and
so-
I was just going to leave that to the CAO, who would work with the managers, and most likely it's Parks Recreation, or it could be some other committee. But CAO, do you want to weigh in?
Your Worship, the process, so once council approves it to move forward, then we review it, myself and senior staff, to make sure it lands in the appropriate committee.
Okay, I mean, it'd be nice to know where it's leaving from here, so that we can ensure that it makes to the proper committee. But I'm all right with, as long as it gets to a committee level, yep.
Councilor Beck, good?
the first one?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, second one, the city council meet with representatives of local QP 830 representing water and sewer workers to hear directly from employees regarding the recent strike and its impacts. Okay, now this is just a vote to put it forward. Okay,
So it's a straight vote?
yeah? Okay, who's in favor to forward this on? Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Who's against forwarding on? One. What's that?
We are not to get involved.
Yeah,
in
that's why
negotiations.
he's,
So I'm not sure, to me, it's out of order. We're not supposed to get involved, so.
anyways, all those against the resolution, okay? Well, we can't, it's a notice of motion.
But where it says, council will vote in debate and vote.
Wouldn't, Your Worship, wouldn't this be a time though, if this is what we are agreeing, like, they're supposed to be back to a table tomorrow with a conciliator. So would we not wait for an update to see if there's something there before we start bringing people in?
No, guys, we're going to move this on. Like, this is a notice of motion. Yeah. And well, no, but notice of motions is not to be debated. Counselor Beck, that's the rule. And it's in the procedural bylaw. Go ahead.
Yeah, it is in the procedural bylaw, 4.12, council will debate and vote on whether or not to advance the notice of motion to a committee.
That's right. So
So-
debate whether to forward it on, that's what it's about.
Right, so Councillor Tweel had put this notice of motion back in a while ago. I understand, according to our new procedural bylaw, that we are to decide whether we're going to advance that on or not. We just did that a minute ago with the deputies, with the monuments. So there was no debate, it went to a quick vote. I think Councillor Tweel has something to say, I would have something to say. So I think that conversation should be allowed before if someone wants to speak to it, because it said we can debate and vote.
This is why notice of motions in Robert's Rules of Order would not allow for debate. I know this is confusing. It is. Yeah. Anyways, under just 1 second. Section 41.2, council will debate and vote on whether or not to advance
Right.
the notice of motion. So you're going to look at the merits and the demerits. Okay. Councillor Tweel, take the floor.
Oh, so I tried to advance this notice of motion last month, but I didn't get it in time. So it stayed in advance until this month. So here we are, it's 78 days. 78 days that the strike has, reached a whole new era of stalemate between the city of Charlottetown and representatives from QP 830. The reason why I put the notice of motion forward, and it's not to get involved in the discussions, it's just for information sharing, an opportunity for 830 to be able to explain to council some of the challenges that they faced. It's almost 3 years now since the negotiations started, and they went 17 straight days. 17 straight days, conciliation, nothing accomplished. Now we're into 78 days. Yes, there's a meeting tomorrow. I wouldn't bet the farm on anything happening. I hope I'm dead wrong. I really do. I hope there's a resolution tomorrow. But nonetheless, I think it would be advantageous for council just to hear a presentation. We're not replacing the negotiating team. I've gone to their meetings. I've gone to their public meetings. I've gone to their rallies. I've heard them out. I just think there's information that city council would find informative, an opportunity to ask some questions, and just leave it at that. Just to hear the other perspective. There's nothing wrong with hearing the other perspective. That's our job, is to hear all perspectives, and then at the end of the day, making informed decisions. I respect the bargaining process. I'm not looking to replace that, but like 3 years now, this has been ongoing. 17 straight days with conciliation. No ground being made. Now we're into 78 days. And listen to them out there. Listen. And wherever I go, residents are asking questions. They're saying, what are you doing? That's why I asked the chair of Human Resources earlier, why, what is our role in this? Well, at the end of the day, we make the decision once they conclude their deliberations and discussions. So that's the only reason why I brought in the notice of motion, so that we can just hear them out. That's it. Just hear them out. And it's not the first time this has happened. I remember in my earlier years here in City Council, we heard presentations from 501. I was here. We did hear presentations. And they filled the chamber. And I don't see this as any different. Just for information purposes. Nothing more, nothing less. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Councillor Beck.
Again, I'll reiterate what I said in the previous question, what I said then applies here, and I don't see a need to support this notice of motion, so I won't be supporting it.
Okay, Deputy?
Thank you, Your Worship. And if I heard it correctly from Tracy, in terms of notices of motion, we can either support the notice of motion to move back to the CAO, who then looks at it to see where the next appropriate steps are with it. So I'm not opposed to moving that to the CAO to see what the next appropriate steps are. So in that case, I'll support the notice of motion to go on to its next step.
Question? Questions called? All those in favor of the notice of motion, please raise your hands. Councillor McCabe?
I will support what Deputy Mayor said. I agree with that.
Those opposed? I'll break the tie. No, it's not moving on.
It's not moving on.
No. We got a collective bargain agreement.
You're not moving on.
Yeah. It says, yeah.
Shame!
Yeah, no. Okay, no, yeah.
You know what? You guys should be ashamed of yourself.
No.
You have 70 days out here, and these people are ready to do that work.
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of
And
yourself,
you
every
make
one of you.
decisions, but you make
It is,
decisions.
it's
You can't
sickening.
go to work.
Right now, it's sickening. I can't believe it.
Bunch of cowards. Cowards.
I can't believe this city. You know what? I bleed my guts for this city. And this is how you treat the people that work the hardest for you?
Good job,
And you bring in people that are qualified.
Piece of shit.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
Okay,
It's bad legal advice, whatever's telling you that you're not involved.
Cowards.
Take a look at some of the history. I've
Yeah.
seen the premier go in to teach for the UPEI. He's not even the direct employer, but he went in to negotiate
You're a
it.
coward.
A strike, get them off the strike.
yeah. Okay,
I want to get educated.
new business?
Hope you all lose your seats next election.
Any new business?
Good job, Landmark.
Okay. Motion to adjourn? Moved? Okay, thank you.